LayerZero has just reached a 3 billion valuation, and with the Zero token already being confirmed on the source code, this could be one of the largest crypto airdrops in history. This messaging protocol already has a huge ecosystem of decentralized applications, and today I'll be showing you the steps I'll be taking to potentially qualify for this airdrop. My strategy will be to interact with as many decentralized applications as possible that are being built on the LayerZero messaging protocol. So right here you can see that there are so many different applications, but actually the ones over here we can ignore because all of them are just the different networks. What I'll be doing is to perform as many transactions as possible and interact with as many smart contracts that are found in these applications that use the LayerZero protocol. If you look at the criteria for the Arbitrum airdrop that was launched recently, you will receive a higher token allocation if you perform a lot of transactions on the Arbitrum network, as well as interact with a lot of different smart contracts. Since LayerZero's ecosystem is very huge, you'll be trying to interact with as many of these decentralized applications as possible. If you perform larger transactions on these applications, you could also receive a higher allocation of the Zero token. Another criteria that you may want to look out for is these transactions over time. It would be best for you not to just interact with these applications all in one shot, but instead you can space out your interactions across different months. All of this is just speculation, and there's no confirmation of whether there will even be a LayerZero airdrop or what are the criteria that we need to meet to be able to receive the token. And most of these decentralized applications are already on the mainnet, so this means that you'll be using real life money wherever you're interacting with all of them. It may be possible for you to lose some of your capital in the form of fees that are being paid to these decentralized applications, as well as the gas fees that are paid to the crypto network. These are just some of the things that you may want to take note of before you start to try this airdrop. Before we start interacting with any of these decentralized applications, you will need to create a non-custodial wallet, and the one that I'm using is MetaMask. So since LayerZero will require you to transfer your tokens across different crypto networks, I would suggest that you buy some stablecoins as well as the native tokens of these different networks that are being used as gas fees. The two main crypto networks that I would suggest having your funds on would be the Polygon and Avalanche networks, as the gas fees are cheaper on these networks compared to others like Arbitrum, Optimism, and of course the Ethereum mainnet, where the gas fees can cost you up to $5 per transaction. On the Polygon network in my MetaMask wallet are some USDT and USDC stablecoins, as well as the Matic token to pay for gas fees. The same also applies to the Avalanche network, where I have the USDC stablecoin and the AVAX token that's also being used to pay for gas fees. It is also possible for you to use other networks as well, like the BNB Smart Chain, Arbitrum, or Optimism. So I would recommend that you have the stablecoins on these networks as well as the native token. If you need help in sending your USDC or USDT stablecoins to your MetaMask wallet, you can check out my video in the description below, where I show you how to transfer these stablecoins from Binance. I would suggest that you join the LayerZero Discord channel as well, and you may be able to receive some updates regarding the airdrop from Discord. Now that we already have some funds in our MetaMask wallet, I'll be showing you all of the different decentralized applications that you can interact with. This list is actually very huge, and there will be some of them where I will not interact with them as well, because those will mainly involve either NFTs or trading perpetuals, which is something that I'm not too familiar with. And I'll be letting you know which of these platforms that I'll be giving a skip, but I'll still list them out here in case you want to try them out. Stargate is the decentralized application that is the highest priority, and I would strongly recommend that you interact with it first. Stargate is a bridge that allows you to transfer your funds across different networks. So now that you have your USDT and USDC stablecoins, you can then transfer them over to the different networks. I have some USDT on the Avalanche network, and I can choose to send it over to the Polygon network, where the gas fees are also cheaper. You can select the token as well as the different networks they wish to transfer the tokens to and from, and you'll be paying a small fee for this transfer as well. So the gas fees for this transfer cost about 20 cents, and you also need to pay an additional 18 cents, which also acts as part of the bridging fee that you need to pay to Stargate. Another thing you may want to note is that each of these transfers may take quite a while, especially if you're transferring a huge amount of stablecoins across these different networks. And one of my previous transfers actually took about 20 plus minutes before it arrived on the destination network. So if you have a small amount of stablecoins, what you can do is just to generate some volume by bridging to and from the Avalanche network, and in this way you'll be generating more transaction volume on Stargate. If you have a sizable amount of funds, you can also stake them into Stargate's pools. You can enter the amount of stablecoins that you wish to deposit into the pools, and this will allow you to earn some protocol fees whenever someone bridges their funds using Stargate. So on top of these fees, you can also earn extra APY by depositing your pool tokens into these farms. When you stake your tokens, you will be eligible to receive your rewards in the form of the STG token, which is the native token of Stargate. So these are the APYs that you receive, and they are actually quite decent. So if you have a large amount of USDT, you can deposit them into these farms and earn this APY. After that, you can also claim your STG tokens, and all of these will also cost some gas fees. The last thing that we can do on Stargate is to stake our STG tokens. If you did not deposit your stablecoins into Stargate's farms to earn the STG token, what you can also do is to go to a decentralized exchange, and the one that I'm using here is the DeFi Llama swap. So I can swap some of my Matic tokens into the Stargate token using this decentralized application, and there are also rumors that DeFi Llama may be having an airdrop as well. So if you have been using this aggregator, it may also increase your chance of getting the DeFi Llama token when it launches. Once you have these Stargate tokens, you can then stake them and you receive the vested STG tokens in return. So you need to also select the duration that you'll be staking these tokens, and it can range from 1 to 32 months. Before we can stake our tokens on Stargate, we actually need to set a spending cap, which is in the form of a token approval. So if you'd like to find out a bit more about what these spending caps really mean, you can check out my video in the description below where I explain this concept more in detail. After you have staked your Stargate tokens, you can go to their snapshot platform where you can vote on any of these proposals that are being raised. Proposals like this one will be raised by anyone who wants to make changes to the Stargate application, and since we have staked our Stargate tokens, we are allowed to vote on these proposals. So you can click on the ones that are already being active, and then you can scroll down to cast your vote. If you have just staked your Stargate tokens, you may not be able to vote because the proposal has this fake snapshot which may be taken before this proposal start date. So for example, this proposal was raised on the 19th of April, but if you click on the snapshot, it was taken on the 18th of April. So this means that only those wallets that have staked the Stargate token before this snapshot will be able to vote on any of these proposals. Or you may not be able to vote on this latest proposal. You may still want to keep an eye out for other proposals that will be raised later on, and you will then be able to cast your vote. So over here, I'll just cast my vote as yes, and it doesn't really matter because I just take a very small amount of Stargate tokens. So I just have this very small amount of the vested Stargate tokens. And the good thing is that you do not need to pay any gas fees, but you just need to sign a transaction. These will be the main steps that you can perform on the Stargate platform, and I would recommend that you start out with this platform first before you venture out to try out the other applications that are within LayerZero's ecosystem. Platform number 2 that we can try out is the bridge on PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap allows you to swap tokens on the BNB Smart Chain, Ethereum, and Aptos, and they also have this bridge function that is actually powered by Stargate. The interface is exactly the same as what you see on Stargate, and you can bridge your funds across all of these different networks as well. You can perform the same steps as what you did on Stargate, where you select the token that you wish to transfer, as well as the source and destination networks. This transaction is actually quite expensive. The gas fees that you need to pay are about 58 cents, on top of this 1 cent fee that you are paying to Stargate. So even for this small transaction, it will take about 30 minutes before my funds will be transferred over to the Avalanche network. And that's something that you may want to take note of when you are performing all of these cross-chain transfers of your tokens. Another platform that uses the LayerZero bridge is TraderJoe. You are only able to send the Joe token across these 3 different networks. And if you do not have this Joe token, you can go to the Trade tab on TraderJoe and swap any of your funds to this token. Now that you have your Joe tokens, you can go to the Bridge tab and then select which of these chains that you want to bridge your Joe tokens to. In this case, I'll be choosing to bridge it over to the BNB Smart Chain, and I can select the maximum amount that I wish to send over. This Guest on Destination tab, you exchange some of your AVAX tokens into the BNB token on the BNB Smart Chain, as BNB is being used as the gas fees to pay for any transactions on this network. If you already have some BNB on the BNB Smart Chain, you can ignore this option and you can just select none. Again, I'll need to make an approval transaction before I can perform the transfer. So the gas fees are quite cheap, but there's an additional $1.23 that you need to pay for this transaction. This transaction is now being sent on the blockchain and is much faster compared to the PancakeSwap bridge, where it will take about 45 seconds before the funds will be transferred over to the BNB Smart Chain. Platform number 4 is the Harmony bridge, and you can choose to bridge your funds from either the BNB Smart Chain or the Ethereum network to Harmony 1. Harmony is actually another event-compatible blockchain that you can add to your MetaMask wallet. These are the few tokens that are available to bridge over from the BNB Smart Chain, and I'll just bridge a very small amount of BNB over to the Harmony network. The gas fees for this transaction is also quite high, where it cost me about almost $2 for this transaction. Right now, we need to wait a while before our funds are being transferred to the Harmony 1 network. Platform number 5 is the Swimmer bridge, where you'll be bridging your funds from the Avalanche mainnet to the Swimmer mainnet. The Swimmer network seems to be a layer 2 that's being built on top of the Avalanche network, and it is mainly being used as a blockchain for gaming. There are a limited number of tokens that you can bridge over to Swimmer, and the one that I'll be using today is USDC. So I only have a very small amount of USDC, but I'll just be bridging it over, as it kind of shows that I'm time interacting with these LayerZero smart contracts. So again, I'll need to perform a token approval transaction, and it will cost me about 26 cents to perform this bridging transaction. The links to all of these different applications will be found in the comments below. You can check out my blog post that acts as a checklist for all of these transactions that you can perform. The transfer has now been completed from Avalanche to Streamer, and this could also count as another interaction with the LayerZero network. Platform number 6 would be the Aptos bridge, and this allows you to bridge your tokens from EVM compatible networks over to the Aptos network. So Aptos is another layer 1 blockchain that is not EVM compatible. So this means that you won't be able to add Aptos to your MetaMask wallet. You need to create a wallet that supports the Aptos network, and the one that I'm currently using is Petra, as it also gives me this ability to import my wallet from my Ledger device. I'm using my Ledger hardware wallet to secure all of my assets because it adds another layer of security where all of the transactions have to be physically approved on this device before it gets sent over to the blockchain. So if you're interested in getting this device, I also have a link in the description below that you can check it out. You can also send our funds over from any of these EVM compatible networks on MetaMask over to Aptos. And similar to the Trader Joe bridge, we can also convert some of our AVAX tokens into the APT token that will be used as gas fees on the Aptos network. If this is your very first time when you are interacting with the Aptos network, I would suggest that you convert some of your funds over to APT so that you'll be able to process transactions on the Aptos network. I've already performed this transaction and I sent over some USDT as well as APT tokens to Aptos. After you have sent your tokens over to Aptos, you can actually use this bridge on LiquidSwap that's also being powered by LayerZero. This interface is quite similar to the LayerZero bridge, and what we can do is to bridge our funds that we have on the Aptos network back into our MetaMask wallet. So this will be useful if you do not want to interact with the Aptos ecosystem. However, even though Aptos has already had one round of airdrops, it is very possible that they may be having a second round and you may be rewarded if you have been interacting with all of the decentralized applications on that network. So I'm also currently working on a video on how to possibly get that second airdrop, and the link can also be found in the description below. So since I still want to interact with the Aptos network, I'll just be sending a very small amount of USDT back into my MetaMask wallet. The good thing is that the fees on Aptos are extremely cheap and it cost me less than 1 cent to perform this transaction. Platform number 8 is this testnet bridge that's also developed by LayerZero. This bridge actually gives a real-world value to testnet tokens like Goerli Ethereum, which are actually just meant for you to test out applications before it goes live. So Goerli Ethereum is actually becoming quite a rare commodity, especially if you're going to try out for all of the different airdrops that are still in its testnet version, including the likes of Scroll, the Base Network, and the consensus zkEVM, which is also known as Linear. So you have some Ethereum on either the Arbitrum or Optimism networks. You can actually swap them to get Ethereum on the Goerli testnet. I would not recommend you to use the Ethereum mainnet to bridge your Ethereum over to Goerli, because as you can see here, the gas fees are extremely high. It cost me almost $55 for just this one transaction. Apart from bridging your funds over to the Goerli testnet, you can also choose to add some liquidity to the platform. The one that I'm looking to add liquidity to is this Uniswap pool on the testnet, as it does not cost any real life money to deposit your funds inside. The pool that I want to interact with will be on the Goerli testnet, and you can click on this button to add your liquidity. So you need to add some amount of Ethereum token as well as the MEF token. So if you do not have any of these MEF tokens, you actually need to swap it on the Goerli testnet. So I actually found the contract address for this token on Etherscan, and I also leave the link in the description below. So you can copy this contract address, and then under the select token field, you can then paste the contract address and you'll be able to select this MEF token. I would suggest that you only enter a very small amount of MEF token, as the exchange rate between MEF and Goerli Ethereum is actually quite high. Once you have swapped your tokens, you can then supply some Goerli Ethereum and this MEF token into the liquidity pool. So you may want to take note that the gas fees are actually quite high, so you may need to have quite a big amount of Goerli Ethereum before you can perform these transactions. And if you want to find out some of the ways that I get Goerli Ethereum, you can also check it out in the description below. Platform number 9 is Angle, where their AGEUR token can be bridged using the LayerZero messaging protocol. You can go to the swap section and swap any of your existing funds on the Polygon network into this AGEUR token. This AGEUR token can be bridged between any of these networks and Polygon. So again, I would suggest that you buy this AGEUR token on the Polygon network and then bridge it over to Avalanche. I just swapped 2 USDC into this AGEUR token, and now I'll be bridging it over to Avalanche. So this bridging transaction is actually quite high, where it costs about 55 cents to send your funds over. Platform number 10 is Bitcoin Bridge, and this allows you to transfer Bitcoin across different EVM compatible networks. So I made this mistake where I went to this application and I went to click on this Get BTC BTC-B, which is the bridge version of Bitcoin that's being produced by LayerZero. I actually went through this very complicated transfer where I downloaded the core wallet and then sent Bitcoin over to this wallet before bridging it over to the Avalanche network. But you actually don't need to do all of that. The faster way that you can get this bridge Bitcoin token is by going to Trader Joe and then swapping some of your tokens to the BTC-B token on the Avalanche network. Now that you have this bridge Bitcoin token, it is possible for you to transfer this token across all of these different EVM compatible networks as well as the Aptos network. Again, I would recommend that you transfer your Bitcoin tokens between Avalanche and Polygon because the gas fees are cheaper on these networks. Here's the amount of fees that you need to pay for this transaction, which is about 29 cents. This bridging transaction is also quite fast and it will take less than 1 minute before your funds arrive on the Polygon network. Platform number 11 is this USDC bridge, which was currently running on the testnet. However, it has been deprecated until it is being launched on the mainnet. So this is something that you may want to keep a lookout for in the future. In the testnet version, you are only able to bridge USDC from the Ethereum and Avalanche testnets. And this can be actually quite expensive. So hopefully the bridge will also support the Polygon network so that the gas fees are much cheaper when you're bridging your USDC across these networks. Platform number 12 is Altitude DeFi, and it also acts as another bridge that is being built on top of LayerZero. Right now I think it's still in its beta version and it has not been launched yet. So again, this is something that you may want to keep an eye out in the future. Right now it seems to be the airdrop season and there are so many projects out there that could potentially release their new token. If you're finding it hard to keep track of all of these different airdrops, I created a Notion page where I've listed down all of the different networks and projects that I'm looking to farm for an airdrop. This will include both video and text guides that will show you all of the steps that I've performed to potentially qualify for these airdrops. If you want to gain access to this site, all you need to do is to subscribe to my Substack newsletter, which I also left the link in the description below, and the link to this Notion page will be sent to you in your welcome email. We've gone through most of the different bridges that uses the LayerZero messaging protocol, and the next type of platforms that you'll be interacting with are the trading platforms. Platform number 13 is RageTrade, and this is found on the Arbitrum network. They are also rumored to be releasing an airdrop, so you can perform some transactions on this platform to qualify for both the LayerZero and the RageTrade airdrops. However, this is a platform that allows you to trade perpetuals, which is something that I myself am not really that familiar with. So this is one of the platforms that I'll be giving a skip, as I do not really want to risk my real life money when transacting on this platform. Platform number 14 is SushiSwap, where it allows you to perform cross-chain trades using LayerZero's protocol. Under its swap platform, you can click on this cross-chain feature, and this will allow you to bridge your funds from one chain to another. So I'm actually bridging over some of my wrapped Ethereum that I have on the Polygon network into Arbitrum, as I actually need some of these Ethereum to pay for gas fees on the Arbitrum network. Platform number 15 is Hashflow, and it also seems to be built on top of the LayerZero protocol. It has this exchange feature where you are able to perform some cross-chain swaps between all of these different EVM compatible networks. The only problem that I've experienced so far is that for assets on the Polygon network, I'm only able to bridge them over to the Ethereum network. I would recommend against doing that because the gas fees are extremely high on Ethereum. So this is also another platform that I won't be interacting with. Hashflow also has its pool feature. At the point of recording, the deposits are disabled for any of these 3 pools. Platform number 16 is OmniBTC, and similar to SushiSwap, it also allows you to perform some cross-chain trades. On this platform, I'll be performing a cross-chain swap where I'll be transferring my USDC token on the Polygon network to Ethereum on Optimism. This requires me to approve some transactions first before my tokens will be transferred over to Optimism. Platform number 17 is Interswap, and this is also another cross-chain DEX where you can swap tokens across various networks. Currently, it still has not launched its platform yet, and it's also something that you can keep a lookout for and you can interact with it once it goes live. These are some of the cross-chain swapping platforms that you can interact with, and the next type of decentralized applications are lending platforms. So the first one is Radiant, which is also powered by LayerZero. Currently, it supports both the Arbitrum and BNB smart chain. You can deposit these stablecoin assets as well as either Ethereum or wrapped Bitcoin, and this will be the APYs that you receive. I deposited some USDC on the Arbitrum network as there was this layer 3 quest that I wanted to complete, and that's something that I'll be going through later in this video. Platform number 19 is Tapioca, and the good news is that this is still on the testnet version, so you do not need to spend any real life money. Unfortunately, the beta testing is now currently closed, so you may want to keep a lookout for it once the next round is being released. So this will allow you to mint some testnet tokens, and then you can choose to lend it out to earn some APY. There's also this teleport asset, which is the main thing that you want to interact, as it uses the LayerZero protocol, and once this platform goes live again, you can use this feature and interact with LayerZero smart contract. Platform number 20 is Mugen Finance, and this is actually on the Arbitrum network. What you can do is to deposit some USDC tokens and you'll be able to receive the Mugen token. So the gas fees are slightly higher on the Arbitrum network as compared to both Polygon and Avalanche. I actually experienced an error for this transaction because I think the minimum deposit is 50 USDC. So I won't be able to carry this out at this point in time. But once you have received the Mugen token, you can then stake it here to earn Ethereum. Platform number 21 is LayerZero domains, and this is similar to the likes of ENS or Space ID, where it gives you an identity on one of these networks. This LayerZero domain acts as a multi-chain NFT across all of these 8 different networks, but the only problem is that you need to register for it on the Ethereum mainnet. Right now the gas fees are extremely expensive and it cost me about $43 to make this one transaction. However, the amount that I actually pay to register your domain for 1 year is actually around 5 USD worth of Ethereum. So right now the activity on the network is just way too high, and I'll be waiting for another time when there's less congestion on the network to perform this transaction. The next type of applications that we can interact with are NFT marketplaces. There are 3 of them that uses LayerZero, which includes OmniX, OmniC, and Holograph. The good thing about OmniX is that it is still in its testnet version, so you'll be using the Goerli network to interact with the different NFTs. The other 2 platforms are OmniC and Holograph, and both of them are on the mainnet. I tried to mint a collection on OmniC, but it seems that I'm only able to do so on the Ethereum network. And again, since the congestion is just too high on this network right now, the gas fees that I'll pay for each transaction will be very expensive, so I'll choose to interact with this platform another time. Holograph allows you to create NFT collections on the Ethereum, Polygon, and Avalanche networks. So again, I'll be using the Polygon network to create my collection. I will first need to deploy my collection on the Polygon network, and this cost me $1.40 worth of Matic. After deploying my collection, I can now mint my NFT. This minting transaction will cost me about 14 cents worth of Matic. We finally reached the last thing that we can possibly interact with, and this is the Ghostly Ghost NFT collection. This collection was actually done in collaboration with LayerZero, but the only problem is that it is on the Ethereum chain. So again, the transaction fees can be very high. The floor price is around 0.17 Ethereum, which roughly costs about 330 USD. So again, this is something that's just too expensive for me, and I won't be making this purchase. After you've interacted with this entire long list of applications that uses the LayerZero protocol, one way that you can track your progress is by going to this Dune dashboard, and I'll also leave a link to this in the description below. This will allow you to check the number of transactions that your wallet has performed across all of the different LayerZero protocols. However, it is possible that not all of the applications are included in this dashboard, so the amount of transactions that we make here may not be that accurate. The only problem is that because there are over 1 billion users that can be tracked using this dashboard, it takes an extremely long time for all of these statistics to load. Last that I checked this dashboard before performing all of these transactions today, I previously performed around 7 different transactions that interacted with LayerZero's smart contracts. As I'm still waiting for this dashboard to load, I'll be showing you the updated number of transactions that I performed after we have interacted with all of these different applications. The final step that you may want to perform is to complete these layer 3 quests on protocols that are related to LayerZero. So the 3 that I found so far include 2 from Radiant Capital, as well as 1 on Stargate on the Optimism chain. You can follow along with these quests to perform all of the actions, and this will help you to complete these quests and at the same time earn some XP points on layer 3. So layer 3 also does not have a token, and it may be good for you to start completing all of these quests and increase your level over time so that you could also qualify for this potential airdrop. This has been an extremely long list of all of the different activities that you can perform on LayerZero, and do let me know in the comments if you have any questions regarding any of these protocols. I recently polled all of you to see which airdrop you're most excited about, and ZK Sync was the clear-cut winner. So if you haven't performed any activities on this network yet, check out my video here where I show you some of the steps you can perform to qualify for this airdrop.